YouTube, what's good, man? It's your boy Cry, man. Welcome back to another vid. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. And make sure to follow me on all platforms at I am Cry. Today we're gonna talk about 3 books every man should read, man. And then I'm gonna give y'all some honorable mentions at the end. And I'm gonna be giving y'all some tips on how, you feel me, I read, a lot of this stuff every single day and how I implement it into my routine. So the first book every man should read is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is like a Bible of productivity. Honestly, man, when I read this book in the beginning of my transformation, like when I went in muck mode, and it definitely changed my life. One of the takeaways, probably the biggest takeaway I get from this book, is that the daily tiny battles will define your future. So what that basically means is, man, sometimes you might wake up, get to scrolling on Instagram, or you may choose to watch one more episode of your favorite show and not go to sleep on time. And those little battles will define your future. Success is a product of, a whole bunch of good days, basically. And, little moments, little battles within your day can throw off your future. If you would have went to sleep early, you could have got up earlier and, did, an extra hour of deep work. If you would have not scrolled on Instagram, it would have kept your mindset sharp for whatever you need to do. So those little tiny battles, man, that you think are not that big of a deal are definitely, major. And, they define your future of what you are and what you could have been. So that's definitely one of the takeaways I got from this book. Another takeaway that I got is that results have very little to do with your goals, but the systems you set in place. So a lot of us say, I want to make $10,000 a month, or I want to grow to, 100,000 followers on Instagram, or I want to retire my parents. I'm trying to get out the hood, whatever the case may be. You say these things, right? But you don't create a plan and execute that plan. The end goal is great, but what you do every day, the systems that you do every day is the most important thing. So you want to make 10K a month? Okay, what are you doing every single day to help yourself get there? You want to get in shape? Okay, what are you doing every single day to help yourself get there? List those things out, create a system every single day around your everyday life, in order to, do those things. And once you keep stacking those things, every day with that system, you'll reach your long-term goal, man. So that's definitely a gem I got out of this book. The second book that I recommend is The SubDo Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. This book basically changed my whole perspective on how I look at adversity, challenges, and problems. One of the biggest takeaways I got from this book is that you're not special. A lot of the problems that you go through, somebody else went through and they became successful, or somebody had it worse and became successful. A lot of times we are very delusional. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I can't get into shape because I got kids. You know how many people got kids that's in shape? Or I can't go to the gym, I gotta work. Almost everybody in the gym got a regular job or is an entrepreneur, man. So you gotta stop making excuses. Everybody is dealt a different hand. You gotta make the best out of the hand that you was dealt. You not special, man. Like, just get the shit done. That's probably the best takeaway I got from this book. Another takeaway that I got is that life itself is suffering. Rich suffer because of their riches. The poor suffer because they're poor. People that are married get into arguments with their spouse, and people that are single are lonely. So one thing, man, it doesn't matter what's going on, there always is going to be problems. So you have to figure out to only have good problems in your life, you feel me? Because there's always going to be problems. And one way to do that this book talks about is understand what things you value, right? So for instance, popularity is a bad thing to value. Why? Because you're depending on a lot of external things. You're depending on other people's opinions. That's not something you can control. Honesty is a good trait to value because that's something you can control. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to be honest. So the nature of our problems is, ultimately what we value. This book taught me to value the correct thing, not be too, vain in my approach to life. Another takeaway I got from this book is don't trust your conception of positive or negative experiences. Some of the most difficult moments of our life were the most motivational and beneficial. And some of the most gratifying moments of our life could be the most demotivating or distracting. So what that basically means is, like, stuff that gives you instant gratification is not good for you in the long term. And a lot of the things that bring you pain in the present bring you, success in the long term. For an example, going to the gym, it sucks every single day when you first start doing it. And even when, like now, it's days I don't feel like going. Like, it sucks in the moment, but long term, it's gotten me the results that I wanted, and it allowed me to become a better person, right? On the other side of the coin, smoking and drinking is great in the moment, right? You feel good, you loose, you know what I'm saying, you got confidence, you having a good time, but there are side effects, in the future. You could mess up, you could have health issues, you could get in a car accident, you could say something that you may have not met, in that moment. So, this book also taught me to delay instant gratification, guys, because, when you do things that are painful in the present, or go through certain challenges in the present that are painful, you're setting yourself up for success down the road, man. So definitely, make those sacrifices now so you can have a better future. So the last book that every man should read, man, and this is definitely my favorite out of the three, the best book I ever read, and that's The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This book, man, changed my life, man. This book basically gives so many gems on how to navigate through business, friendships, relationships, and just life in general. But basically gives you 48 laws to live by. I'm gonna share with you a few of my favorite laws. Another reason why I knew this book was the one, because a lot of the other books I read, they have principles from this book in those books. I'm gonna share with you all a few of my favorite laws from this book. The first one is conceal your emotions, right? And the main takeaway that I got from this is many people believe that being honest and open wins people's hearts, but it actually creates envy. So a lot of people love to brag. A lot of people love to talk about their accomplishments. But in doing so, one, either nobody really cares, or two, it only creates envy, man. So this basically is saying, like, keep the wins to yourself, man. And this is something I've definitely implemented in my life, and it's done wonders for me, because I can recall in the past, I'll hit up a certain friends, people I thought was my friends, or certain people, share some good news, and their energy just affected mine and affected what I was trying to manifest at that time in my life, with all the negativity. So just conceal your emotions, man. Like, everybody don't need to know everything. And that's definitely what I got from that law. The next law is make your accomplishments seem effortless, right? And this is a good thing to practice. I wouldn't say this is the best thing to do in business. This is more so good in relationships, right? A lot of people feel the need that they need to post every single thing they're doing. And it's very important, especially as a man, to maintain mystery. Women love a mysterious man that they can't figure out. You know what I'm saying? They look at you, they say, oh, this nigga got his money up. Oh, he in shape. Oh, he don't really be outside like that. Like, they can't figure you out. When you posting every single thing you do, you're very predictable. And that goes with your accomplishments. So if you and get a new car, get a new house, you don't necessarily have to say what it took to get there. It's basically what this law means. So, never reveal just how hard you work, because, sometimes a little mystery is good. Now, don't get me wrong. It is okay to sometimes show behind the scenes of everything that goes on. But more cases than not, man, it's going to do you a lot of justice to, keep those things to yourself, man. Just post the highlights, keep the hard work behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this law talks about. And I've definitely implemented that in my life as well. And it's done wonders for me, and it's even better once people do find out, like, the hard work that it did take on their own. That's even better. It's your work to, your accomplishments to be spoken from other people. You don't want to do the talking yourself. You want to let people do the talking for you. So that's what that law talks about. The last law I want to share with you, and again, this book probably needs its own video, man, because it was tough just picking three laws to share with y'all today, because there's so many gems. And I didn't even share my favorite laws because it's too much game in this book, man. You just got to read the book yourself. But the final law is be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. So it's very common now, the word or, man. You see that a lot online, and this basically what that talks about. How you act and how you perceive yourself is how other people will treat you. And if you show weakness when you meet someone, or when you're introduced to someone, when you walk into a room, or when you in dealing with confrontation, you'll bring out the lion in people, and they'll take advantage of you. So you always have to think of yourself in the highest regard, and that's how people will treat you. That's what I got out of that law, man. I would definitely read that first, man. That this book changed my life. Definitely the best book I ever read. And I don't think it'll ever not be, you know what I'm saying? But there's definitely three other books, man, that I want to give you guys that are some honorable mentions. One of them is The Way of a Superior Man. So this book talks about a lot of the adversity you go through as a man, how to remain masculine, how to deal with women, you know, in different situations and things like that. That's a great read. Another one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the main things I got from this book I love to share is that, you know, nobody cares about what you're talking about. People love to talk about themselves, right? So if you're in a business meeting or in a conversation with somebody that you're networking with, ask them questions about what interests them. You know what I'm saying? And when you get people talking, it makes it seem like you just become a likable person, and you know that could open a door for you rather than continuing to talk about yourself. Nobody cares, man. People only care about themselves. So that's definitely what I got from that book, man. And then the last honorable mention I want to talk to you all about is called Psycho Cybernetics. And this honestly could have made the top three. The main thing that I got from this book is that how powerful your imagination is. Scientific studies have shown like your brain in certain instances can separate a real thought and a made up thought. Athletes are a great example of this. A lot of times you'll see interviews from athletes and they say they imagine themselves before the game dropping 30 and winning the game, and then it comes into fruition. A lot of your thoughts, man, you have to control your thoughts and be aware of your weaknesses, but be aware of your strengths as well. So that's the main takeaway I got from that book. So that's definitely a great read. But fellas, one thing you got to do, man, I read these notes from these books daily. What I do, man, let's say there is 21 chapters in a book, right? So when I'm reading, I'm actively reading. I'm typing in notes from each chapter of, you know, quotes I like, things I've learned, you know what I'm saying? And I do that, let's say the book is 21 chapters, right? So what I do is, if there's 21 chapters, there's 7 days in a week. I'm gonna read 3 chapter notes each day, right? And this is how I keep my brain fresh and remember everything that I've read, because you can read a book and then forget everything that you just read, you know? So this is how all of these, you know, when you see a lot of my motivational videos or when I'm spending a lot of game, it's because all of this stuff is permanent in my brain because I'm reading it every day. And you don't want to forget valuable information, because otherwise you're not really improving yourself, man. So that's what I would definitely recommend, man. Make sure to be active when you're reading, take notes, and then set out a time in the day to, you know what I'm saying, read those notes, you know, each day. Monday, I'm reading chapters 1 through 3. Tuesday, I'm reading, you know, 4 through 7, you know, and then so on. So that's a gem I wanted to give you all, man. But that's the topic for the day, man. I really appreciate y'all coming to tune in, man. I love y'all. Peace.